Hi, this is Brandon Williamscraig, and I'm making a series of videos that answer questions that I receive in hopes of clarifying what Aikido 2.0, martial nonviolence, peace practices, and conflict done well are about. If you want to know more about this, you can visit conflictdonewell.com. So the question I received is, you seem to be implying that my teacher is not really teaching Aikido as it was intended to be taught. That is pretty arrogant. First of all, I really like the directness of the question, so thanks for sending it. So your specific teacher is your concern and her concern. So you'll have to figure out whether your suspicions about what I seem to be implying fit or not. Because obviously I don't know who you are, so I don't know to whom you refer. So stepping away from the specific to the general, I intend to challenge Aikido practitioners and about how they're teaching and what they're practicing. So yes, that can be arrogant, it can. And I do my best to do it in a non-arrogant fashion. In other words, it's not me. I don't want it to be about me challenging them. I would like them to consider what I'm proposing and see if those propositions are challenging to their practice. In my mind, that's what intellectual and practical honesty is about, is that they'll need to ask themselves the questions that I'm asking, independent of whether they think it matters that I'm asking them. Yeah, beyond that, it's pretty much if the foo shits, wear it. So the question that you're suggesting is, how was Aikido intended to be practiced? And I would just direct you to our history, our myth about the founder and how he chose to demonstrate, sometimes at great length, and use poetry and religious imagery, mystical stuff, practices from various traditions, combining jujitsu experience from various systems, and what he chose to emphasize and what his direct students chose to take away from that and transmit to their students, which are very specific and usually based on their way of looking at the world, their worldview, and temperament, I would argue. Though obviously I didn't meet all of them. Yeah, and last but not least, when these questions are being considered, please remember that learning itself is archetypal, which is to say it goes back at the pattern level to what all human beings can relate to, and that it functions on a continuum. So when you're evaluating how your teacher teaches, it's really important to notice what stage they're in. So there's the stage in which they say, do this as I do it, which is very basic. And then on that continuum, they move from do this as I do it to do it in whatever way works. So you move from precisely as possible, reproducing what one could call kata, though there's an argument to be made that what Aikido does is not really kata. But you reproduce a particular pattern that looks exactly like as close as you can get to what that person is doing. And then as you deepen into your understanding of it, you start to do what other people are doing and try to widen your understanding of the whole of a particular technique or even the entire system. And then you move on from that to being able to apply the principle of the movement in any circumstance to any attack that's appropriately responded to by using that practice. So your teacher may be teaching you at the very basic level, and they may be able to teach you also using metaphor and language and increasing levels of difficulty and multiple attackers and all that sort of thing. Or they may be at their level, they may be teaching as best they can at a very basic do what I'm doing as we figure this out together kind of level. And that's fine. So I hope I answered your question, and thanks for asking it.